playing myself. What is up, champs? Champion Trucker coming back at you from the truck, aka the apartment that my dad created for my truck. I guess he thought this looked like a apartment. But with that being said, thank you guys so much for clicking onto this video, watching. If you're a reoccurring champ, welcome back. If you're new, subscribe, hit that like button. And so with that being said, I want to read this comment that we got on the last car living video by Eddie Bacon.
So good and tasty.
I lived in a car for a year in Washington State and I saved $15K in 8 months. I had so much cash on me. At one point I had to go open a bank account. I did temp work and day labor and just did whatever I wanted to do. And that's the sweet life of car living if you actually choose that. But again, we're going to start off with people that choose to do it, why they do it, and then we're going to look at the dark sides of why they do it. And make sure to head on over to my Patreon where you get access to the Discord. You also get cooking videos to help you stay healthy out here on the road and much more. Without further ado, let's go ahead and roll that intro. The very first thing that I want to jump onto is, how do they wake up? And so let's check it out. How do they wake up
in my car? Wake up with me.
Yeah.
But first things first.
Okay. Oh no. Hold on. I am so sorry here at Champion Truckers Studios, where we like to create a seamless and nice experience for our viewers. Unfortunately, the content that was supposed to be here is corrupted, so I have to do it all over again. So we have two gentlemen that live in a car. You might be asking me, Champ, how does two people live in a car like this? I don't know, but we're about to find out. So let's go ahead and play the video, because this dude's sitting on the roof of the car acting like it can support anyway.
Excuse me, do you live out of this car?
Actually, we both live out of the car.
Both?
That dude is like, what? That's a nice guitar though.
Yeah, do you want to see?
Does a bear in the woods? Of course.
So this is my 2001 Toyota Camry. Bought it for $1,000
That dude found that joke so funny. He said,
bucks when I was 16.
what? 16 years old? Your light is out. You need to go take it into a shop. Holy moly.
This is my friend Jack. My car made
Jacques or Jack? And oh my goodness, this guy looks like, and oh man, it just gets worse. His eyes are like, bro, I don't want to do this, man.
Why are we still here? Just to suffer?
So this is where I make my food. I do not believe in ice. Ice, waste of bread.
Wait, whoa. There's two things I didn't understand. He says he doesn't believe in ice. Ice is quite literally, you could see it. You know, just go in a freezer. It's real. I don't know if this guy knows that. And two, how is ice bread? They're two different things. Where did he? What? It's a waste of bread. Ice is a waste of bread. What?
I do not believe in ice. Ice, waste of bread. Have all my clothes here. Dirty clothes. Shout out to Columbia for
Oh, no sponsor. No sponsorship. No sponsor. We're going to skip that.
rice bag. I don't even know what that is.
Is this how you charge everything?
Just plug in the car. Plug in my laptop.
How can you charge a laptop? Oh, he probably got a Mac. Yeah, those things will charge about with anything.
All my stuff.
How do you sleep in this
We
thing?
have to thug it out. Put my seat. It goes completely flat.
Oh no. If he's sleeping like that, there's no way Jack is sleeping in there unless he has to sleep upright like that. At that point, you might want to ask, who are you sleeping next to?
This is how Ace sleeps. This is how I sleep.
So why do you live in a car?
It's crazy cheap, and I'm going on a cross-country road trip.
How much do you spend a month traveling?
Across the country and everything, I'm spending roughly around like $1,000.
This dude is probably younger than me and looks almost as old as me. If that makes sense. He has to be in his like early 20s.
A month. just the memories alone is so worth it.
I think you been stressing, dog. I could see stress. I could see it. He got some nice videos, I ain't gonna lie.
How do you make enough money to stay on the road?
So I actually make videos for companies, and I create them product videos and stuff like that. And,
How do you work out of the car?
Work?
Yeah.
Libraries.
All right.
Yeah.
Thanks.
I'm not gonna lie. I would prefer to live like in an RV, not a 2001 Toyota Corolla that you got at the age of 16. It's probably time to upgrade, at least just into some SUV. So we're gonna head on over to Reddit once more. r/urban car living is actually a thing, and the original poster, OP, how is it actually like day to day living in a car? And this was 4 years ago. So box 7003, shout out to you, said a few things, but the most important one that's going to bleed into the next problem that you'll run into when living into a car, but safety. You're way more safe. I'm just reading as it was typed out. You're way more safe in a car than no car. The homeless, careless, are exposed to the sun, rain, and police. Cars are tempered glass and steel and soundproof. They're not easy to open. The homeless with no car are constantly bothered and ticketed by the police in California. I think that's like Southern California. I think that's what y'all call it, SoCal. I live in SoCal. Because the police can see them. Parking. Use common sense, avoid bad parts of towns, use Google Maps to find apartments with street parking. You blend in with all the cars that come and go, never at one place more than 3 days, then can return a few weeks later. Pin on maps where to park with notes, traffic, homeless, etc. This gives you a breakdown. We're not going to read all of them. It goes into tinting, window shades, but the one about safety is our biggest one because Southern California, or California in itself, has some laws that make it difficult for people that they want to sleep in their car overnight. Well, you might be running into some issues. Let's check that out. So I'm going to start it from here, but as a recap, pretty much you have a lot of people that are filing a lawsuit due to a law that was created for those that live in San Diego, and they're telling them, no, you can't sleep overnight in your car. You'll be fined. You'll be punished. But we'll go ahead and dive into that here.
Living in a vehicle.
The new laws are sparked from the lawsuit filed in 2017 on behalf of a group of disabled, unhoused San Diegans living in their vehicles. The complaint says the city's ordinances prohibited people from sleeping in vehicles overnight, despite having no other option. The $3.2 million settlement also sets new rules and changes police enforcement on the vehicle habitation and oversized vehicle.
And this is the thing. It is quite sad that you have a group of people that all they want to do is survive. They want to go to sleep. And honestly, I have to face the same music as well due to the fact that as a truck driver, you know, sometimes you can sleep overnight at the location that you're delivering to. Well, you have individuals, police, and other people are like, why is this giant semi truck here? They'll call and say that, hey, you're not supposed to be here. I've seen videos on it. I've had security tell me I can't park here. It's not an easy way of living. You would think that living in your car or sleeping in your car, as long as you're not bothering anybody or taking up parking spaces, wouldn't be a huge issue. But in Southern California, or California in a whole, is having such a crisis with homelessness that they're creating laws that are hurting people that just want to find a place to lay their head at night. And to go off of that, more Americans turn to living in their cars. This is a story about Crystal Audette and her daughter, Sierra. And I'm just going to read this place because it actually shows and tells you guys what's going on. But they place sheets on a window of their car to create privacy in Kirkland, Washington. So not California, but in Washington. And I believe Washington actually has one of the highest real estate prices out there throughout the U.S. So yeah, the family is among a growing cohort of working Americans living out of their cars. So let's go ahead and dive into this story. Crystal Audette tried to get comfortable in what she called her bedroom, the back seat of her 8-year-old Ford Fusion. To stretch her legs, she had to leave a passenger door ajar. But September nights are raw in the Pacific Northwest. with sheets of rain that cut to the bone. From her own bedroom in the front seat, her 26-year-old daughter, Sierra Audette, asked her to close it. "We have to get out of this," Crystal Audette said to herself as she pulled a comforter against the cold and struggled to fall asleep in the parking lot in Kirkland. Now, I don't know if this is a story that they told the person, or the news people are literally watching this happen. That would be creepy. But now we're going to find out, why are they in this predicament. Audette, 49 years old, earns over $72,000. If you make $72,000, you should easily be okay. But we'll find out that that's not the case. $72,000 a year as a social worker for the Washington State Department of Social and Health Services. But a combination of bad luck, bad debt, and bad credit score priced her out of her apartment. In Bellevue, I think is that Bellevue? Anybody could correct me, let me know how to enunciate that. Another suburb of Seattle, one of the most expensive housing markets in the country. One of, okay. With the eviction looming, she put her furniture in storage this spring and began parking the sedan in a parking lot outside a church in Kirkland. The car, her biggest investment, became her home, and the weathered stretch of blacktop provided by a Methodist church became her yard, her neighborhood, and her safe place. So all in all, why does somebody live this way? Well, there's contributing factors, and I do have to say this is actually one contributing factor where they did a lot of things wrong. And I know that a lot of people are going to be like siding and saying, oh, well, you know, the pricing, but at $72,000 a year, I understand Washington is quite an expensive state to live in, but to be in a high price place in Washington next to Seattle, or a suburb of Seattle, bad debt, you have bad credit. It's just an amalgamation of a lot of issues against you. So you have to kind of own up to it. And yeah, you're going to have to go through all of this. You're going to have to go through the strife. And I'm not saying they deserve it, but sometimes it's either people are forced into it, or people are literally choosing to do it. And then you have the third option where people made so many dang gunnet bad mistakes, that's their last and only option. So not everybody lives in a state like California or Florida, and many people are living in their cars. So somewhere up north or Midwest, what do you do when it comes down to needing warmth? And of course you can run your car, but if you don't have enough money for gas, you want to save on that. So we have this video, Winter Sucks in Your Car. And we're going to see this YouTuber that documents his journey and tells us what he does in order to stay warm.
One of the hardest parts about living in your car during the winter is how cold it gets. So I'm going to give you 3 tips for how to keep warm.
All right.
If you're homeless.
Okay.
Obviously, the first thing you can do is you can run your engine. Your car produces a lot of heat, but this isn't ideal because this uses gas.
Yep.
The next thing you can do is you can get one of these. This is a heated blanket from Walmart. It costs like $20, but it's made specifically for your car. You take it and you plug it into the cigarette port on your car.
Oh.
Once it's plugged in, you take it and you stuff it inside your sleeping bag to keep all of the heat in there, and this will help a lot at night. The last option is a little bit more expensive, but this is a battery pack with an inverter. So you can plug a small heater into this and you can keep your car warm for many hours at a time.
Oh, and you know what? I noticed something that he didn't even capitalize on. He has a heat mat on there. So if he's running heat, it's not burning the bottom of the car, which is, that's pretty smart. That they're smart.
You can keep your car warm for many hours at a time. If you guys have any more tips for how to keep warm at night, leave them in the comments so that other people can find them and get good ideas.
Yep, so I got my own tips. There was a few times where I was left stranded on the side of the road waiting for a tow truck due to the fact that, you know, my truck went kaput, and that sucked. But, you know, what came up was knowledge that I gained over the time of having to hit my head. Number one, I always carry plenty of blankets, probably more than 4 blankets within my semi-truck. The number 2 thing, extra clothes. Obviously, if you're living in your car, concurrently you're watching me on YouTube, well, you should always have clothes, extra clothes that are going to be for like heavy duty. There's a guy that I watch and he does the van life, but he said, I don't have my boots, I don't have this. And I'm like, well, you're underprepared. Like, he's literally going outside with flip-flops and it's snowing. Now, he can do that. I can't. I would literally probably die. But yeah, be prepared. So we have the Zebra, which is a really cool blog spot. I think it's a blog. But it says 13 considerations for living in your car. And this was in March 13th, 2024. So quite relevant. And let's get it. Number 1. Legal considerations. Living in your car is typically legal in most states as long as you avoid trespassing and parking only in places you are allowed. It is still important to research local laws and regulations regarding living in a vehicle full time. Number 2, safety. We already covered that, so I'm going to skip that. Number 3, sleeping arrangements. Depending on the size of your vehicle, your living space will be fairly limited. If you're working with a camper van or minivan, you can fit a larger, more permanent sleep setup. If you're working with a small space of a sedan or hatchback, you may have to work with something you can fold up during the day in the back seat. Hygiene. Personal hygiene is one struggle of living out of your car because you don't have access to running water. Water. One option is to get an inexpensive gym membership where you can use the shower and bathroom facilities. In the last video that I talked about, I ran into a guy. He told me, yeah, I use like the bathroom here and everything, and goes into his car and lives out of that. Storage. Another issue of part-time or full-time car camping is that even if you're a complete minimalist, the materials just for living can quickly fill up your small space, make it uninhabitable. Clothing, food, water, and there's so many things. So if you guys want to check that out, the link will be down in the description for the full list. I definitely want to shout out the Zebra with all these tips. And let's go ahead and close out this video. First and foremost, I want to say thank you if you made it all the way to the end of this video, and thank you all for your contribution in the comments of living in your own vehicle. As a truck driver, if I was over the road, I would quite literally be living in my truck, which is smaller than a jail space. But when it comes down to car living and even truck driving, which I covered, one of the biggest problems within truck driving is parking, is the fact that you can get in major trouble or fine due to the fact that you're trying to find a place just to sleep. And you would think that this country that has so many roads, you would be able to do whatever you want. Well, it just doesn't work like that. With all this information, I hope that it helps you. I hope that it actually opens your eyes to a new subsection when it comes down to transportation and living, and kind of move that over to the trucking space and make it a lot more difficult, because if cars can just simply pull over to the side of the road, trucks cannot do that. We have to go the extra length in order just to find a place to finally shut down and lay our head down. Thank you guys so much for watching this video once again, and I will catch all of you champs in the next one. Peace.